Today's video is going to be how to mosaic crochet this cat design. It is fairly beginner friendly, as I try my best just to make sure that there are as many beginner friendly-esque kind of videos on here, as well as many beginner friendly patterns with mosaic crochet, because there are not a heck of a lot out there. With the skills that you will gain from practicing your mosaic crochet patterns, from the first tutorials I released to just the little refreshers where we want to focus on a slightly different, more specific pattern, hopefully you guys will get the confidence and the skills to make larger designs, such as some of my crazier blankets that I have created myself. I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and let's get into today's tutorial. For this video, you will need a copy of this pattern chart. I will have it linked in the description of this video so you can get a free copy yourself. I've got two coloured yarns. I'm using this brown yarn for the actual cat design, and I'm using this purple yarn for the background. I also have a crochet hook. I've decided to go for a 4.5mm, but you could probably get away with a 4mm for this video as well. And I'm just using standard acrylic yarn as well for this. And then the final thing that you'll need is a pair of scissors, which we'll be using quite a lot because we change the colour every single row. When looking at this first row, you'll see it's got white as the colour for the row, and that is the purple for the background. Going across, you'll see the entirety of the first row is blank, which means single crochets only, and there's a total of 18 boxes, which means 18 stitches. So we're going to start by doing a slip knot and then put our hook into the loop. We're then going to do a total of 18 chains, just because that's what it's going to be for the entirety of this row. You're never going to have a row with more or less than 18 chains for this design. Okay, how many have I done so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. But what we're going to do, because we want to have a total of 18 stitches, we're going to just do one extra chain. We're going to skip that first one and we're going to go into the second chain and do our first single crochet. And then what we're going to be doing by doing a single crochet into every single stitch, it just means that we're going to have a total of 18 single crochet for this round. And we're just setting a bit of a foundation for the overall design by doing this, just because I quite like having your design spaced quite evenly into the centre. So the first few rows are essentially setup rows that I like to do. It's completely your choice if you want to do them or if you want to get straight into the design from the second row, but I prefer just to wait a little bit more because I feel like it looks a lot nicer overall finish wise if you do take your time just to do these setup rows. And we're nearly there, guys. Just the last 2 stitches. Okay, we're then going to chain. We're going to grab our scissors. My nails are very long at the moment, so you may have a bit of difficulty like I do if you have long nails. Cut the yarn, pull it through that chain you created and tie it off. That is how it looks after the first row, and then we're just going to start and keep building from there. This is how it looks with the first row done, and then looking at the second row, you can see that we're using the second colour, which is for the cat, which is this brown. And then the entirety of the row again is just blank, so that means single crochets only. The first thing that we are going to do is we're going to go into the front and back loop of the first single crochet and then do 1 single crochet. We always do this stitch at the start and the end, so the first stitch will be a front and back loop single crochet and the last one will as well. And then for the remainder 16 single crochet for this row, they're going to be in the back loop only. The reason we do that is because that enables us to drop down into the front loop of the previous colour, and being able to do that is essential for mosaic crochet, because if you can't do that, it means you can't create the designs. Okay guys, so we're just getting to the last stitches. That's the final single crochet into the back loop only, and then the final stitch here is the single crochet into the front and back loop. Once that's done, we're then going to do 1 chain. We're going to get our scissors again, cut the yarn, pull through that chain we created, and that is the second row done. The second row is done, so now we're looking onto the third row. You'll see it's the white background, which means it's the purple colour. The entire row here is just full of crosses, and that refers to the double crochet. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to go into the front and back loop of that first stitch, because we always do the single crochet in the front and back loop to start and to finish the row. So we'll just get that done first. And then there's a total of 16 X's, so we're going to be doing 16 double crochet. So you're looping over, dropping down to the front loop of the previous purple, and then doing a double crochet. And you're just going to keep repeating that whole process. So for the most part, except for the little point here that you see at the start and what you'll see matching at the end, the entirety of the brown row we have just done is essentially going to be hidden. And that's why I always say, technically, if you want to start the design from the second row, you can do, but I prefer not to, just because I feel like you can then see how the design works up a lot more evenly and centered in the swatch that you're doing. This is how it's looking so far. We just have a few stitches left to do. This is the last double crochet. And then we're going to do a front and back loop single crochet into the final stitch. We're going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull that through. And round 3 is now done, and you'll see the brown is essentially being hidden. That is intentional. That's just helping even out the overall swatch. We are now onto row number 4, and you'll see it's using the cat colour, so the brown, but the entirety of the row is blank, so that's referring to single crochets again. So we're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch, like this, and then we're going to do a total of 16 single crochet into the back loop only. From the 5th row, so from the next row onwards, you're really going to start to see the actual design developing, because I feel like it's always fun, at least you're getting the slightly more easy and basic stuff out of the way at the start, and then you're going to be able to have fun with your design and see it as it's working up. We just have a few more stitches left to do. So just finishing the last back loop only single crochet now. We're at the final stitch, which is the single crochet into the front and back loop. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut the yarn and pull through. And that's how it's looking at the end of row number 4. Row number 4 is done. We're now on to row number 5. You'll see it's the background colour, so using the purple, and it's going to be 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single crochet, and then 4 more double crochet. So we're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop to start. There we are, nearly done. We're going to do our 2 double crochets to begin. So that's the second one. And then 10 single crochet into the back loop only. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. That's how it's looking so far. Once that's done, we then have 4 double crochets to do. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we're doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of that final stitch. After that's done, we're going to chain. We're then going to grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. And that's how it's looking now. We have row number 5 done, and now we're on to row number 6. 6 is using the cat coloured yarn, which is this brown. We have 2 single crochet, 10 double crochet and 4 single crochet. So we're going to start by joining our yarn and doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. Number 1 is done. We're then doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only, like that. And then we've got 10 double crochets dropping down into that previous row of the brown yarn. We're really starting to make the base of the cat pattern, so you're really going to start to see it develop over the next few rows after this. There we are, we're nearly done with this little group. We've got just a few more stitches left to do. Okay, that's done, and then we have 4 single crochet in the back loop only left to do. 3 and 4, and then the final stitch is the single crochet into the front and back loop. Chain, cut your yarn, I already did it in advance, and pull through, and that's how it's looking once row 6 is done. row number 7, we're going to start to change things up a little bit. So you'll see we're using the background colour, which is the purple. We've got 2 double crochets. We then have 12 single crochets and then 2 double crochets. So we're going to attach. You're going to see we're starting to separate the aspect on the left, and that's going to be what helps create the cat's tail. So single crochet front and back loop to join, 2 double crochets and 2, and then we're doing 12 single crochets into the back loop only. And by doing those extra 2, we're just going to be separating the base of the cat tail and the rest of the cat body, because if we didn't do that, then it would just be a bit more blobby and you wouldn't have the features be as distinct. So it's definitely important to do this step. Okay, nearly done. That's number 9 done. 10, 11 and 12. And then we're doing 2 more double crochets for the end of this row. And then the single crochet into the front and back loop of that final stitch. We're going to chain. We're then going to cut our yarn like so, and then we're going to pull through that chain we just created. And once that is done, this is how we should be looking. We're now starting row number 8. So row number 8 is using the brown yarn for the cat colour. We have 2 single crochets, 8 double crochets, 2 single crochets, 2 double crochets, and then 2 single crochets again. So we're going to be starting to chop and change what we're doing, but that is fine. It's not going to get much more complicated than this, and this is still a relatively beginner friendly pattern to follow. So single crochet into the front and back loop to start. We've got a total of 2 single crochets into the back loop only. Once that's done, we have 8 double crochets now. So that is 1, 2, if I can do my double crochets right, 3, 4, number 5, and then 6, 7, and if I can get that done, 8. Perfect. So we've done those 8. We then have the 2 single crochet in the back loop only to do, and 2 more double crochets left to do, 1 and 2, 2 more single crochets into the back loop only, and then a single crochet in the front and back loop of that final stitch. We're going to then chain, get the scissors again, cut the yarn and pull through. That is how it's looking, and then you'll see on the pattern chart we're now starting to create the tail going into this direction and the body of the cat going into this direction. We're now on to row number 9, which is using the background colour, and then you'll see we've got 2 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, and then 2 double crochet. So we're going to get our first stitch done. We're doing our single crochet into the front and back loop as always, and then we have 2 double crochets immediately, so straight away dropping down into that previous row of the purple. I'm making this look unnecessarily difficult, I was just having a little faff there. And then we've got 8 single crochets into the back loop only, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 3 left to do, 6, 7 and 8. After that, we're then going to drop down into these spaces here and do 2 double crochets. That's 1, and then this is the second one. After that, we're doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and then we're finishing off with 2 more double crochets. That's 1 and 2. And then single crochet into the front and back loop for the final stitch. Then we're going to chain, grab our scissors again, cut the yarn, pull through, and that is the end of row number 9. Let's start row number 10. That's going to be 2 single crochet, 8 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet. So we're going to get our yarn, let's make a start, and do the single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch. Like so. We're then going to do 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and 2, and then 8 double crochets into these spaces here, 1, 2, if I can do this right. There we are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then once that's done, we're then going to be doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only, followed by 2 double crochets, dropping down again into that previous row of the cat colour, 1 and 2. We're then going to do 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and then the final stitch is the single crochet into the front and back loop. We're going to chain, get our scissors, cut our yarn, pull through, and then that is the end of row number 10. We're on to row number 11, so that is 2 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet. We're using the background colour, which as always is purple. We're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch, and then start with 2 double crochets immediately, and 2. We're then doing the 8 single crochet going into the back loop only, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. We're then dropping down into this space here and doing 2 double crochets, followed quickly by 2 single crochets in the back loop only, and then a further 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we're doing our single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch. We're going to chain, get our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that is the end of row number 11. We're now on to row number 12, which is going to be 2 single crochet, 6 double crochet, 4 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet. So let's get our yarn on our hook and begin. So we've got a single crochet in the front and back loop of the first stitch to do, like so. We're then doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only, then followed by 6 double crochets. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We then have 4 single crochet into the back loop only, 1, 2, 3 and then 4. We then have 2 more double crochets to do, 1 and, if I can get to that again, 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochets into the back loop only. And then our final stitch is the single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch. We're going to chain, we're going to grab our scissors again, cut the yarn and pull through, and that is the end of row number 12. It's time for row number 13, and you'll see it's 2 double crochet, 6 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 4 single crochet and then 2 double crochet. So we're going to get our yarn and do our single crochet in the front and back loop to start. All done, and then start off by doing 2 double crochets like that. Perfect. We're then doing 6 single crochet into the back loop only, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're then doing 2 double crochets. We've got 1 and 2. We're then doing 4 single crochets going into the back loop only, 2, 3 and 4, followed by another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. We're then going to be doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. And that's how it's looking at the end of row number 13. It's time for row number 14, which is going to be 4 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 4 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 4 single crochet. So let's get our yarn ready. We're doing our single crochet in the front and back loop of the first stitch. So I'll just get that done first to attach to my yarn. Amazing. So we're doing 4 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're then doing 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. We're then doing a further 4 single crochet into the back loop, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then another 4 single crochets into the back loop again, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then a single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch. So we're going to do that single crochet, we're then going to chain, we're going to grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that's the end of row number 14. One thing I'll note now, just doing a side-by-side comparison, this stitch here is this one here, so we've just finished up the tail, so we're not going to be adding extra length to the tail, and then this point here on the chart that we've done here, we're just doing the neck of the cat. So at this stage we just have the head of the cat to do, and then the detailing around for the background, and then we'll be done. Time to start row number 15, which is going to be 2 double crochet, 6 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, and then 4 double crochet. So we've got our single crochet into the front and back loop to worry about first. So let's get that done and out of the way. If I can put my hook in the right spot, there we are. Okay, so we'll start this off by doing our 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Next step is a total of 6 single crochets, just going into the back loop only. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're then doing another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, then 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and 2, and then 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then the final stitch, the single crochet into the front and back loop. We're going to then chain, get the scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that is how it's looking. And you'll see here the tail is completely done. We're not going to do anything else with the tail now, and we're just setting up to finish the cat's head. Row 15 is done, so it's time to get on to row 16, which is going to be 2 double crochets, 6 single crochets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets. So let's get our hook, and we're going to be doing our single crochet into the front and back loop here to begin with. So we're going to do that stitch first. Once that's done, we're doing 2 single crochet into the back loop only. 2. We're then doing 6 double crochets, dropping down into that previous row of the brown yarn. And we're really going to start to see the head of the cat start to really work up from this row. So that's 4, 5 and 6. And then we've got 8 single crochet into the back loop only, which is just going to take us all the way until we get to that final stitch for the row. 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then a single crochet into the front and back loop of that final stitch. We're going to chain, get our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that's row number 16 done. We're now on to row number 17. That's 2 double crochet, 6 single crochet, 8 double crochet. At this stage, we're not going to be changing from single crochet to double crochet quite as much, because the only component we're working on right now is the head of the cat, as the tail is completely done. So single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch to start, then 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, 6 single crochets going into the back loop only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, And then we're doing 8 double crochets, dropping down into that previous row of the purple yarn for the background. And at this point, we're going to see that we are no longer going to be within the distance to work on the tail. So we're really working past that stage now. And it also means we are getting towards the end of this pattern design. Okay, just a few more of the double crochets left to do for this row. The last double crochet is this one here. And then we have a single crochet into the front and back loop of a final stitch, chain, grab your scissors, cut your yarn and pull through. And that is how it's looking. Time for row number 18, which is 2 single crochet, 6 double crochet, 8 single crochet. And then we're doing our single crochet into the front and back loop to start. Once that's done, it's 2 single crochets into the back loop only, which we'll just do first. And then all 6 double crochets dropping down into this section here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. There we are. So the cat's head is really starting to take shape. And then 8 single crochet into the back loop only for the rest of this row, which will take us to the final stitch. And then after that stage, guys, we only have a handful more, I think it is, not a handful more. And then we're going to be done with the design very shortly. So final stitch is the single crochet in the front and back loop, chain, grab your scissors, cut your yarn, pull through, and this is how it's looking. We're on to row number 19, so that is going to be 2 double crochet, 6 single crochet, and then 8 double crochet. Oh, wrong colour, using the purple yarn. So we're going to start by doing our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. Once that's done, we're doing 2 double crochets to start. And 2. Then we have 6 single crochets going into the back loop only. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we have a total of the 8 double crochets that we're going to work to. And then once that's done, we'll be at our final stitch for the row. So that will take us all the way to the end of this row up until that final last stitch. There we are. That's one thing, I always get the tails of these stuck in stitches every so often, and it's just, I feel like it's just me having a silly crochet moment whenever I do that. Okay, so the 8 double crochets are now finished, so we're going to be working the final stitch, which is this single crochet in the front and back loop. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that is the end of row number 19. It's time for row number 20, and officially the last row that we'll be working on the actual cat design before we set up the rest of the background. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to attach this yarn first, and then we'll see what we're doing for the row. So single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch, there we are. And looking at row number 20, it's 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 8 single crochet. So let's start that off with our 2 single crochets into the back loop only, then 2 double crochets dropping down into that previous row of the cat colour. That's 1, and then we're just going through that second one now. Once that's done, it's 2 single crochets into the back loop only of the purple, dropping down again into the 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and you'll see what we've just done is we've just helped create the cat ears for this. And we're then doing 8 single crochets going into the back loop only, which will take us to the end of this row. Nearly there. And then oh, there we are. Always get my yarn snagged when I'm trying to rush, so I need to be patient. Okay, there we are. And then the final stitch is the single crochet into the front and back loop only. We're then going to chain, cut the yarn and pull through. There we are, and that's how it looks at the end of row number 20. It's time for row number 21, which is 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, and a total of 8 double crochet to finish off the row. We're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. like so. And then once that's done, we're going to start off by doing 2 double crochets and 2, then 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and 2, another 2 double crochets, and then another 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And then the last section for this row is a total of 8 double crochets where you drop down into that previous row of the purple background coloured yarn. So I've just got a few more stitches left to do. And then after this stage, guys, we've already finished the cat design. So we're just working on making sure that it's spaced out in the swatch as well as we can by doing a further 2 rows. So I've just got a little bit left to do. Second to last double crochet. Now onto the last one. And then it's a single crochet into the front and back loop of this final stitch. I'm then going to chain, I'm going to cut my yarn and pull through, and this is how it's looking. And the actual cat design is done, so we're just working on making a little bit more height at the top here. It's time for row number 22. It's a completely blank row, so that means we're only doing single crochet for the row. We'll start by doing our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. There we are, and then we're doing a total of 16 single crochet going into the back loop only. We're not joining up with any point here because the cat design of this is done, so we're just working on the background at this stage. And with this done, we've literally got this row and then the row after, then the swatch will be done. If you guys have never done Mosaic Crochet before and this is the first time you've come across it, then please do let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm trying to have as many free patterns that are going to be as beginner friendly as possible, just to get you guys used to what Mosaic Crochet is and just to get you guys enough practice, because I understand that there are not a lot of patterns out there, and then it's not fun because you don't want to be repeating them just again and again to get used to Mosaic Crochet. You deserve to be able to have a variety of patterns to work with. Okay, final stitch, single crochet into the front and back loop. There we go. Chain, I'm going to grab my scissors and try not to drop them on the floor. I'm going to pull the yarn through, and we have 1 row left now. It's time to finish it off with row number 23. You'll see the entire row is marked with X's, so the whole row is going to be double crochet. We're going to do our first stitch, the single crochet in the front and back loop, and then after that we have a total of 16 double crochets where we drop down into the previous background colour, which in my case is purple. The fun thing is you guys can use whatever colour combinations you want to use for this. I always find it so much fun just seeing what you guys do use, because everyone has such different palette colours. What's happening today? I cannot speak. Everyone has different colour palettes that they love and enjoy, and that just fits their aesthetic. And yeah, I wanted to go for a slightly more subtle combo, and I thought it'd be quite nice in just being able to show quite a clear contrast as I'm going through this design with you guys. I also have gone for a slightly more casual themed kind of voiceover. I'm doing the voiceover as I am crocheting instead of what I usually do, where I do a voiceover and I film the video separately and then just do the actual voiceover afterwards. So let me know if you preferred this kind of style, if you preferred the other style, and I will take notes. So the final stitch, the single crochet into the front and back loop, we're going to chain, we're going to cut our yarn and pull through. And that is how the finished swatch design will look once you have finished row number 23. I don't know about you guys, but I am really happy with this design overall. It's so cute, it's so simple, and you could use it to make so many different things. Now that the tutorial is done, fingers crossed you should have a design looking somewhat like this. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial and you'd like to see more like this, then please let me know in the comments below. And if you have any specific designs that you'd really like to try out, let me know. If I can make a chart for it, I will. As always, if you guys want to see more content like this and you're not yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing as we are on the road to 3K. As well as that, please press the bells to be notified when my next video is up. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.